Hello there, and welcome to the Impact Zone podcast. We are back. We are here again to talk more TNA wrestling shenanigans. And, well, today we're talking about a sellout, or at least looks like a sellout. Main reason that it looks like a sellout is that it hasn't been confirmed, and perhaps that's because they have, maybe a few more seats there for Slammiversary, but it does look like they have sold at least 4K tickets. So that is pretty darn good there for TNA. Like I said to a few people that I was messaging around the place and whatnot in regards to this, I know that that's not a huge amount in comparison to like WWE and AEW and whatnot, but the thing is, like, TNA hasn't had that many like big arenas of late. Like the last arena that they had was about 1.5 to 2K, I think it was, or maybe it was 2K. I'm not quite sure. And that was like one of the biggest crowds that they've had in a while. Now they've doubled it, like in like what was that, like 6 months. So, and I know like the smaller pay-per-views, like, or peer, whatever you want to call them, specials or whatnot, have gotten, basically the same amount, maybe 1,000 or, whatever, thereabouts. So, and the same for the tapings. The tapings, the next day after tapings of Slammiversary, still have tickets, so certainly there's still some there to go. As I said, there is potential for maybe a few more tickets just to squeeze in, but I think the demand has to be super high for them to, and I pretty much think that that's what they're working on as to one reason why they haven't announced, hey, this is a sellout. It's potentially because, hey, well, we might open like a few hundred more tickets or whatever it is, 50, 60 more tickets or whatever it is. The last few tickets sort of have sold a little bit slowly, but the thing is, again, like, it's really only taken a few days. And, at the end of the day, they have sold out those tickets, which is pretty darn good. Yes, again, it's not as big as like selling out, 6K or 10K or whatever, or 50K or whatever else it is, or 100K or whatever, things like that, or more. But again, that's still good for them. It's a positive sign. It's positive momentum that we need to keep building upon. And as I said, like a few months ago, they got one of their biggest ones, which was 1.5 or 2K or thereabouts, nearly 2K perhaps. Something like that. It doesn't really matter as long as they're trending in a positive direction, which is what they've been doing for the most part. You can look at like Bound for Glory or look at something like that, and like taking more of these risks, taking more of these bigger arenas. Like if you can sell it out, and even if you only just sell it out, that's good enough, because I'd rather be absolutely like, we stuffed as many people as we could in there, and being on our means, to being like, oh, the arena was half full or whatever. You'd much rather that point you're saying, well, let's move to a smaller arena or whatever. So they've never really had that. They've never really had that problem of late in the last 6 or so years of being like, oh, our arena's, way too small, like, or whatever. Like, they haven't really had that problem for the most part. But the thing is, like, I know they want to keep building, and I want them to keep building. I feel like if like, their network, their TV network sucks balls. And I think a lot of people, I will not say that this is the sole contributor, because I have heard a few people saying that the WWE working relationship is the sole contributor. Well, it's not. Certainly it's playing a small role in selling tickets. The excitement is certainly there. There is some thought that there will be some NXT crossover there, and going beyond that, probably at some point down the road. I will keep this in mind that some people have sort of been a little bit critical of the partnership thus far because all TNA has gotten is like, well, I don't want to be condescending or mean or whatever, but 2 lower card female wrestlers and 1 sort of lower mid card sort of tag team or faction thus far. And what TNA has sent has been their main event Knockouts champion and their main event ready Joe Hendry and their semi-main event to mid-card tag team in the Rascals. So the exchange thus far hasn't been that equal. We will have to wait and see where it goes from here. And I said this before as well here and there, that I am crossing my fingers and getting a little bit hopeful. I don't want to be too hopeful because the thing is, like, we've been burned so many times and I don't want to get my expectations too far up to being like, oh, this will be here and that'll happen and this and that and whatever else. And I think that that's important as well. The card right now is pretty small for Slammiversary. I don't know exactly, what the details of some of the other stuff is with the, the Charlie Dempsey, the Combat Club, or whatever he's got going there. His trio and the Rascals potentially being at Slammiversary. Certainly, we're going to see the ABC and the System at Slammiversary there. They did announce Marsha and Alicia versus Spitfire. That was pretty obvious as well. We're still there's still so many people that are on the roster that aren't officially going to be featured yet. And I feel like they should definitely be featured at least somewhere on this. And I don't know what they're going to do because they have already taped that episode of TNA. So, and it is happening this week, I believe. So it is happening this weekend as well. So only in a few days. So, and then, TNA, the Go Home show is, just, a couple of days away as well. So we will see then as well, like the last minute plans that they're going to put in place, or some of the last minute plans. Perhaps they will get some stuff last minute, or last, few hours or whatever. It does depend on travel and who's doing what and where WWE wants some of their guys and whatnot. But still, yeah, the NXT guys there, that they're doing a match with, I think it's today or is it tomorrow? I'm not too sure. I believe it's on Tuesday. They're over there. So yeah, I'm interested to sort of kind of see that. I think it'll be interesting. I think it's one of those things that, the teasers that Joe Hendry was kind of coming and whatnot, kind of people knew that was kind of going to happen to an extent, or for some amount, to a degree at least. And they knew what was coming to an extent. But with the Rascals, they didn't, and now they're actually on the show next week, which isn't just a tease. It's actually them being like, no, these guys are gonna wrestle, And I'm a little bit sad that the Rascals didn't reunite in TNA, but sure, whatever. That's cool that they united over there and are going to have a match over there, which is a little bit sad as well because it's their first trios match or whatever in many, many years as well. So again, kind of like a little bit, and it's like, well, next week they've got to team with Kushida against what's his name, Charlie Dempsey and his boys, whoever they all are. I don't even know who these guys are, barely. I barely know who Charlie Dempsey is now, because I looked it up. and whatnot. So yeah, but still, I'm interested in that. I really just, I don't really care about it being that much on Slammiversary, but I would rather it be like something that happens at Slammiversary, because then at least you're there and like it means more and whatnot. You're not just having a match on TV for, you know, 1,000 people to watch, maybe. I don't know. Or 10,000, whatever it is. So, or 100,000, whatever it is. But yeah, I don't think, well, has any of them been, oh no, what's the name? The, the young lady there, whatever. Oh no, was that on pay? No, that was in the ECW arena. Um, what was her name now? See, this is what I mean by saying, like they really have sent a whole bunch of just JAGs, just another guy or just another person in terms of a female wrestler. I do want to talk about Nick Nemeth and Mustafa Ali. I just saw that as I was scrolling through here to find the open challenge that Jordan Grace had. Don't know whether I can actually find it here while I'm scrolling through. Perhaps not. Perhaps if I just go to TNA and I go to news, not that, no, results, no, that's photo gallery, results. Oh, it was the first match. Izzy Dame. Okay, there we go. Who? Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, I don't know, dude. That's what I mean by them just sending just other people, the no quarter catch crew. That's Charlie Dempsey's stable. Trevin Heights, Miles Bourne are in that stable. I will not remember. I swear I will not remember any of that at all. But that is happening. But yeah, Nick Nemeth versus Mustafa Ali for the night after Slammiversary TV tapings. That's them putting matches out there, being like, okay, we've sold out. We need to start selling tickets to the next night and whatnot. Which is an acknowledgement of saying, hey, well, the tickets are kind of slow for that show. But surely I think people will know, hey, this is going to be a good show. It's following, one of the biggest shows of the year and whatnot. So I don't know exactly what it is in regards to that, slower ticket sales for the second night and whatnot. Yeah, who knows? It is one of them things. The tickets, from what I saw, weren't too expensive, but like you've got to consider people, getting the hotels and that sort of thing and whatnot, getting all of their things together and getting food, blah, 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 all this sort of stuff. So, I will just see if I can find, oops. Yeah, I think this is the one here. So, let me see if I can get this to load. Looks, I think, like the night after ticket sales, yeah, probably not even half of the arena is sold out. So the front row is completely sold out. But beyond that, there's a few rows that are sold out, but there's lots and lots of tickets. Oh, and the entrance ramp, that's pretty much sold out. There's like 3 tickets in the entrance ramp. Yeah, but beyond that, like there's a lot of tickets and a lot of rows, and the top booths and whatnot, and general admission. Whatnot. So there's quite a few tickets still available, and whatnot for that show. So obviously they've got to start shifting tickets for that show. And them just announcing that is obviously saying, hey, here's something to look forward to. I'm sure they'll put out more. I don't know what that actually means. You know what I mean? Like, we've been speculating about, the whole situation with Mustafa Ali and whatnot, saying, well, he's probably going to lose to Speedball. If he's facing Nemeth, the question becomes whether or not he's actually sticking around, because the prelude thought of like, oh well, he's going to be done after doing the honors or whatever. Hey, dude, like if he sticks around, I'm happy for him to stick around. He's been really great. He's done some great work. He's told a great story, and whatnot in this. And he's, putting in, if, I'm thinking if, again, I guess I should preface it that way because you never know what's going to happen in wrestling. If he isn't losing, then where is this going? Like, if he loses, then where is it going? So you've got to consider it from both sides, if he's winning and if he's losing. So with that match being announced, it's like, well, what does that mean? Where is that going? Either way, like, does that mean he's sticking around, or is this like just a match for him to, get some shine back or whatever or whatnot, so that he can get into the next show with, a few wins under his belt or something like that, or some big wins under his belt, and that sort of thing, and then go from there to being, challenging Speedball, and then maybe he's leaving because, hey, he might want his rematch, and that's fair enough. But it's tough because, again, the division sort of needs him, because it's like there's not that many great heels in the division. But then again, you could start focusing more on Gresham or something at the top of that division. I know, like, some people disagree with whether he should be in that division or whatnot. I certainly think that he could be in that division. I don't think that he should take it as an insult to be in that division, at least at first. I certainly don't don't see him being the digital media champion. So I really, unless he's like a placeholder or something, I really see him being more of an X division or world champion type wrestler. So we'll wait and see for that. I'd as well. But there's a few people you could start doing stuff with. Like, I've said this before. I think that there could be something there with somebody else potentially, who's kind of in the X division sometimes and kind of not. They also challenged Mustafa Ali a few months back or so, whatever it was. So yeah, I don't know. It's tough to figure out exactly what's going on there, because it's like, well, if you're like, again, it's against Nemeth. It's like, I know some people have sort of said that, again, TNA's dropped the ball with Nemeth or whatever, and that sort of thing, or whatnot. I don't really think they have, because, like, realistically, you've got to say that WWE dropped the ball with Nemeth, because he wasn't very, well renowned as much as being a real world champion as when he came in. But I think people's perception of Nemeth is, or people like Nemeth is, oh, it's an ex-WWE guy going to TNA, and TNA's got no one, so he's just going to win their world belt, obviously, because they've got no one. They haven't got anyone who has, recognizable name, except for all the people that have recognizable names. and whatnot. So he's definitely winning the world title. Even a mid-carder in WWE is a world champion level wrestler in TNA. And certainly, yes, he's in that world championship level, and he's always been capable of doing that. But it's just been like the booking of the guy who's, you can't believe in somebody if they don't win, and or if they only win one or two matches, and then, oh well, here you are suddenly getting a title match for no real reason other than you won one or two matches or whatever it was. I don't think you're winning this because you never really win, basically. So there's nothing there substantial for the fans to, hold on to start saying, well, we're going to take you seriously, because the company's not taking you seriously. The fans can't take you seriously if the company doesn't. They can be as, hyped for you as they want, as far as saying, oh, well, this is the guy we want, this is the guy we want, whatever. And that's something that I think Nemeth got the raw end of the stick with. Like, it's not his fault. But it's not TNA's fault to be like saying, oh, well, we're not going to put the title on him straight away or anything like that, because it's like, I think it's one of those things of saying, well, that would be a problem in itself. Like, again, like people have been complaining for years, decades, centuries even, I think, at this point, about how TNA, and again, that was the perception or the thought that that's what's going to happen, because that's, what people think TNA would do, and whatnot. And they have done that in the past, like here and there and whatnot as well. But again, like, I think that it is a bad move to do most of the time, especially when somebody hasn't ever really been presented like that. You really need to present them like a upper mid card or top guy for a fairly long time, so that people start going, nah, this guy should really be the champion. He's been here. He's been putting in this time. He's been getting those wins. And that's what they've actually got to do. They've actually got to give him a lot of exposure, give him a lot of wins at the top of the card or near the top of the card, so that he feels like, or, even, the few losses that he has had, it feels like, man, no, he's still there at that top of the card, or near that top of the card, so he's still important, and he's still trading with some of the top guys that are in the company, and he's been given some stuff to do and whatnot. Yes, he's not getting that much amazing stuff right now, but, he's getting a title match at Slammiversary, potentially. So at least as far as we know, because he's apparently, he's not quote unquote medically cleared, but we'll have to wait and see what's going on there as well. So we'll keep our eyes on that as much as what we can. But again, there are other options, and hope one of them, hope something happens. But certainly, again, it's one of those things that you look at the trajectory of both of those guys. If you're putting both of those guys together, somebody who in Nemeth is an upper card guy, against, Mustafa, who's, he's probably a mid carder right now, you're either looking at putting, someone like Mustafa up towards that more main event level, or you're looking at pulling Nemeth sort of down, I guess, to that more mid-card level, which sucks for both of them, unless you're going to present them both at being near the top of the card, and whatnot, in some way, in some fashion, or, in an important role. You want to feature both of these guys and do some great stuff with them going forward. So, like, where are they going from that? So you've got to think about that. But yeah, that's them trying again to sell that show, give fans, something to go, oh shit, we're gonna see this. Oh baby, we better buy those tickets now, Grandma, quick. I'm sure there's a bunch of other matches and things that are gonna happen on the show, and whatnot after Slammiversary. So, And I'm sure there's still some stuff that could happen at Slammiversary as well, because it just feels like Sami Callihan hasn't really gotten anything to do that much. I mean, we can see something between Gresham and Kushida, potentially. We could still see something between the Rascals and the Combat Club or whoever. I've already forgotten who they are, what their name was. Get a shorter name, guys. Like, just Combat Club. No, whatever. No catch. Something club. Something. Whatever it was. Um, Two names. One or two names. Like, or NWO. Get it to like 3 letters or something, dude. Just make it more simple or make it more memorable for people to actually friggin' remember what the frick your goddamn team name is. The Rascals. It's one word, like that's it. It's not like, 7 words or whatever, 4 words or whatever, and it's not got any initials or whatever it is. It's like, man, I'm not remembering that. So, yeah, just having that sort of thing going on there potentially. But yeah, Sami Callihan hasn't gotten anything. We don't know if, Alex Hammerstone is I think at this point we pretty much know that he's not going to wrestle because he's been injured and whatnot. So hopefully he can make a recovery soon and come back soon. Jake something's not doing anything, potentially at least. So Dina's not doing anything. I don't care that much about Dina. I don't care that much about Jake something. But again, like, you're starting to say, well, there's all these guys, that, are on the roster and they aren't doing anything. Sami Callihan's not doing anything. It's like, what's he gonna do? And he wants a fight, like, why not bring somebody in or do something or something like that to have another, or even some sort of multi-man match of some sort, to get something happening next month, for Moose. Because again, you've got all these guys. Put all the other guys that didn't win their qualifying matches or whatever into a match. And then you've got Dango and Santana. That Santana wants Dango and all that. So that could be there as well. Like, there's lots of little things that you could start going, well, this could be there. And they haven't announced the ABC versus the System, but that's because, they want people to think the Hardys will be there. But I think Matt can be there, but I don't think Jeff can be there. For legal reasons, for alcohol and whatnot use and that sort of stuff in Canada. You get banned if you've got so many strikes or so many arrests or whatever and all that. So, so I don't think he's going to be there, unfortunately. But again, like, do we need him? Do we really need him there? I don't know. It's tough. And again, like, what are those guys, like, even Matt? Like, even if Matt's going to be there, it's like, well, what's he going to be doing there? What's Rosemary doing? Like, there's a bunch of people that you start, like, she's been kind of doing stuff with the Knockout style, and I kind of feel like she should have been, like, the one to be challenging Jordan in Canada, since she's from Canada. And I think a few people said, well, she should challenge for the championship or whatever. But I don't know. It's tough because, again, it's like, it's a situation, and it's like, well, maybe they're saving that for Ash or for after Ash. But then again, she'll have lost by then, I think, at least. Maybe. I don't know. But I just don't see Ash as a legit champ right now. So, yeah, there is that. But yeah, like the show overall, right now, it does look a little bit thin. Though the big matches that are there are big selling matches, so you can't discount that for the most part. But again, the women's tag division is so goddamn thin. I noticed though that on the few of the explosions of late, they've been having some female tag teams. They need to just bring in a whole bunch of just random female tag teams. Even though that makes the division kind of worse in some ways, at least it gives people, opportunity to, showcase themselves in some ways, and it gives, Masha and Alicia people to beat for a few months until you figure something else out or whatever it is. So I think that's where that is right now, unfortunately. I really think it's interesting to think about, but it would. I don't know whether it would be better with a mid-card women's title or not, because that's real tough to figure out, because it would be almost the same problem, except I guess you wouldn't be tying up two wrestlers effectively two wrestlers in each team from that. I don't know, because secondary title would be really hard to kind of instate and kind of keep going alongside the more important, proper knockouts title. Or you could make the women's U.S. or North American title or something like that, or Intercontinental. I don't know about that, but still, you could do something like that and say, hey, here's this mid-card title, or here's the female X Division title. I think actually women should be allowed to go for the X Division title anyway, because it's a division without limits, so the limits shouldn't be that a man or a woman shouldn't be allowed to, challenge for it. Anyone should be able to challenge for it, because it's got no limits. It's not a sexist division, and whatnot. So I just don't think they've got enough X Division style female wrestlers, I guess. So, but that's that. Anyway, guys, Slammiversary's coming up, and the tapings after Slammiversary, they're trying to start, hyping people for that, since they basically sold out there for Slammiversary. So it's good news, and hopefully some good news there on the day after tapings as well. Looks like, again, they've got half their arena so far filled. I expect, or hope at least, that, the other half will get sold pretty soon. And, hey, we'll check back in. It's not even a week away, but still, we'll keep our eye on it, and hopefully soon, it's within the next few weeks and whatnot, they will in fact have, within less than that, but still within the next week, this week rather, they will have sold out. But yeah, anyway, guys, hope you have enjoyed this one, and I hope you guys will join me again in another one.